Murder is just picking when someone dies. Agreement is the ultimate nullifier for insult.
The only insults that hurt are the ones we believe. Next time someone insults you, remember, they're going to die. Everyone will forget about them. And if no one will remember them, then you might as well forget about them now. They are irrelevant. Your dream, your actions, your outcomes.
So now you know what the inside of my head looks like. I mean, I put almost everything immediately to death. And that's like, maybe it's a coping mechanism, maybe it's a perspective mechanism. But like, you want to hear, I was really strongly considering having a parody, tweet profile of my own that I also run, that no one would know that I run. That is just like all my very, very controversial beliefs. But I'll throw a taster out now. Murder is just picking when someone dies. So it's like, if you hate someone, it's like, you can just look at them and be like, oh, you're going to die eventually. But like, and so like the idea is like, in your mind, you could murder every enemy you have. You just don't get to pick the time. But I just find that such a, like, murder only changes when, not that someone's going to die. And so if you think about like retribution on someone's like, this person said this thing to me, I want to kill him. It's like, oh no, you don't even have to. They'll die. They're going to die already. Like, you don't even have to, like, don't worry about it. They're going to die. And so it sounds so silly, but just connecting those two dots, I was like, wow, that's incredibly peace-giving. So like, why have a vendetta when life will take care of them for me? And so I just, like, you know, as a totally different frame, I was talking to somebody who has cancer in my life, and they were like really concerned. They were like, this has a 95% mortality rate over the next 5 years. And, you know, me being me, I was like, well, you know, 70-year-olds probably have a 60% mortality rate over the next 5 years anyways. I was like, and life has a 100% mortality rate. So, you know, worse, yes, but like how much worse? And so like, they didn't think it was funny, but, but just as a, it was intended to be comforting. It didn't succeed. But all that to say, these things that people cast on us, it just whispers in the wind, right? Like, if we think that our whole meaning is so infinitesimal, the idea that someone else can influence our trajectory when they themselves will disappear and become irrelevant seems so silly to me.
And they don't have our best interest at heart.
No.
They have the opposite of our best interest.
Yeah, they're literally trying to destroy you.
What about the only insults that hurt are the ones we believe? What about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, because I, like other people, get offended with things. And then I've also had times where someone says something with the intention to insult and it doesn't. And I was like, how can I get that to happen every time? And so it's the classic example of, you know, Chris, you have green hair. And then you would say, okay, whatever, sure. But you don't believe it, so it doesn't really matter. And so I think there's kind of a dual-sided lesson, at least for me in this, is that when we are insulted, I try and pay attention to it, because I think, okay, either there's something here that they're right about and that I don't like about myself, in which case the response is to agree. And that's what's so frightening. And so it's like, if someone, so recently had someone made something blasting me about, I don't go home for the holidays. I made this video about it. And in the first 5 seconds of the video, of course, I'm like, if you love your family, fucking go home. This is for everybody else, right? But of course, no one actually watches that who makes that piece of content. And so they just went on this tirade about me. And I just said, God, I suck, period, as my comment. And because there's no, the stoic response to hate is to agree and one up. So level 1 is agree. So someone says, Alex, you're a fucking idiot. And you're like, believe me, if you knew half of it, you'd think more than that. Because it's the only way you can respond. And so my mental judo for these things, and I try to, now the good news for you and I is that we get lots of practice, right? Every day we have people hating on us. And so I get to practice. So like people meet you in real life and they're trying to insult you. You're like, dude, I have so many reps on this. Like, I'm good. And so it's just like, can I one up their insult? Like, if someone insults me, it's like, dude, you think that's good. Let me tell you how to really get me, right? And so just the frame of agreement evaporates conflict.
Yeah, that's your thing about most people are more interested in winning than being right.
Yeah.
So you just say, sure.
You're right. Yeah. Alex, you're an idiot. All of your business advice is terrible. I'd be like, you're right.
Now what?
Where do we go from here? Right? Wasn't that fun? And so we talk like, because I like human behavior a lot, but it's a extinguishing event. So like when you pull a slot machine, when null is the outcome, it nullifies. Agreement is the ultimate nullifier for insults. And I think that like if the faster I reprogram that, so it's like if you ever feel insulted, either like first is it true? Like if you are insulted, you believe them. Okay. Do I believe them because there's an element of truth? If there's an element of truth, why am I insulted? I should agree with them. It's just because we have some ego behind it of like, I'm going to be perceived a certain way.
Or maybe because it's poking a hole, it's wedging into the inauthenticity that someone has brought into the light, something which we thought we were able to keep in private.